Again? Senor Luchadont, you gotta explain to me, what did Minnie do this time to get locked up in the basement again?
He just stays in the basement. He doesn't get to come out. So what he gets, the one thing we've always agreed, the two things we've always agreed on is that we don't like Nia Jax and we don't like Omos. That he started to like Omos, so he stays in the basement.
I mean, I guess that is very, very fair. We're gonna talk later because I need you to let him come out of the basement for a little bit because we got things this weekend that are coming up that I would like him to be a part of. But you know what? We can discuss that later. But hi, all you Myconics wrestling nerds out there, and welcome to another weekly edition of the Raw Squad Reviews, your weekly WWE Monday Night Raw review team. I am your host, Mikey. Joining me again this week is Senor Luchadont. As we just discussed, Vinny is still currently locked up in the basement somewhere, but hopefully he will make an appearance sometime this upcoming weekend because, yeah, Royal Rumble season is here. Royal Rumble is coming up this weekend, and this was the go-home show for Monday Night Raw. You know, I had to watch this one twice because at first I was like, I don't know how I feel about this. Then I watched it again. I was like, you know what? I think this was a pretty solid show in the sense that it looks like we're building towards things past Royal Rumble 2. I'm looking forward to the encounter we're going to have with people in said Royal Rumble this week as well.
See, I actually really enjoyed this episode. For somebody who I've said many times I'm not a promo person, I like the in-ring work for people. There is a couple promos that I actually solid really did enjoy, and there was two banger matches on this episode.
Oh, absolutely. I cannot wait to talk about
actually three, because the earlier tag match in the beginning of the show is also really good.
Woo. Oh man, I can't wait to talk about that one too. And if that means we get more of it, then I'm here for it. But we'll talk about it when we get there. All right. So let's get into this. So Monday Night Raw first opens up. So we got Seth Rollins in the ring. And as we were told, and as we learned over the week after last week's episode, Seth hurt himself in the match with Jinder. Then we come to find out that he has a torn, what was it? Not an ACL, an MCL.
He had a grade 2 torn MCL and a partially torn meniscus.
Yeah, which if anyone knows about that, that's not as bad as an ACL, but it does require some surgery, especially the torn meniscus.
It's not a significant amount of time he's going to be out, but he will. If he were to take surgery, then he would miss Mania.
Right, and essentially, this promo starts off with him telling us this, and telling us the extent of his injury, and then before he gets into, what his route is going to take, because if he does go in for surgery, it's 3 to 4 months recovery time, which means he would be missing WrestleMania. And then all of a sudden, we had Imperium interrupt.
See, I like this because I'm not sure if you noticed, mostly Gunther they've had Gunther stay away from the big main event guys like Cody, Seth, Roman, all these big name dudes to protect him and what he's doing with the IC title, and they're finally starting to push him past the IC title. So I really enjoyed this segment because it's pushing Gunther really, really hard. And actually, that reminded me, I was reading on Twitter, somebody was asking, what's Gunther's finisher? Best response I saw was he doesn't have a finisher. He just beats the fuck out of you until you stay down. I think it's the sleeper hold that he does, but I like the other rings.
Right. I mean, and I actually really like Gunther interrupting because between me and you, and Minnie, we've all talked about how we want to start seeing Gunther be pushed into the main title picture at some point because he's the longest reigning IC champion. And it seems that we're starting to tease him to go after Seth or whatever he wants to do. But essentially, Gunther's approach here is that he respects Seth, he's a fighting champion just like him, and that he is going to not have any sympathy because when the time comes, when he wins the Rumble, he's going to go after Seth. He's going to take that title and beat him to a pulp, though he respects Seth. And this is where Seth tells us essentially that, you know what, you need to let me finish, even though I have these injuries. I am not going anywhere because I am going to fight my way through. I'm going to head into WrestleMania as champion, and I'm going to leave WrestleMania as champion as well. So we're teasing that there's a secondary competitor for Seth's title. And then all of a sudden, as Gunther walks out of the ring and Imperium is kind of just watching Seth in the ring, Kofi Kingston and Xavier Woods jump out of the crowd and start beating down Giovanni Vinci and Ludwig.
It was super abrupt. It was really cool. It set up perfectly for the match. And I'm hoping a surprise entry in the Royal Rumble is Biggie Langston.
Oh, I would love to see Big E so much. I don't know. That might be a long shot. If not an entrant in the Rumble, just to accompany the boys would be a beautiful thing to see. But this out of nowhere beatdown leads us into our first match. So this is a tag team match between the boys of Imperium versus the New Day. And let's just get to the important part. This match ends in a double count out because they go outside of the ring and they're just beating the tar out of each other. They're going through the crowd. You've got like there was at one point Xavier like hucked a chair so hard. Like I was like, ooh, somebody got hurt.
See, my question is, normally when people fight outside the ring like this, when a match is a double DQ, a bunch of people like Jason Jordan, Joey Mercury, all just come out and stop and separate them. That didn't happen this time, so you knew something was happening.
And it sure enough did, because towards the end of this, we get the Imperium boys on top of like some roadie cases, and they're trying to throw Xavier Woods, and then Kofi Kingston jumps out of nowhere, and then Xavier and Kofi literally just all four of them go through the tables waiting for them below, and that's how the match ends. I really hope this culminates in some sort of extreme fight, like a street fight, Extreme Rules, like whatever it is.
An Extreme Rules tornado tag match? Let's go. I'm still down about that. At Elimination Chamber?
Exactly. And you know what? What I have to say in terms of all this is that I don't know if this was the original plan, in the sense that because of what happened to Giovanni during the match with Kofi and Jey Uso versus Imperium. But you know what? You turn lemons into lemonade, because if this culminates into a crazy match, I'm totally here for it.
Oh, me too. And like the way they ended it, it made everybody look strong.
Oh, like, exactly.
Maintain the momentum that Imperium's had the past couple of weeks, with like Ludwig going crazy, like drop kicking Kofi in the steel steps and everything like that. The only thing they could have done differently, I felt like, yeah, they wanted to push this over, so never mind, it probably really wasn't, but like, it would have been dope if Imperium would have won for some reason and it kept that momentum going. But overall, good segment. I really enjoyed the opening overall.
I did too, and this was the really fun first match. So then from here, we head backstage with Judgment Day, and Rhea Ripley is all business tonight because she's yelling at all the boys. First, she yells at Damian for the fact that while Damian is focused on Drew, Damian should be dealing with, R-Truth and the other problems that are coming with, and Damian snaps at Rhea. He's like, no, I got this covered.
You're walking around with the big head because you're on the cover of WWE 2K24. And everybody was like, oh.
I was like, dang, Damian. I was like, we didn't need to go that hard, but all right. And then he yells at JD and Dominic for losing to DIY next week, and that problem should have been solved. And I love that Finn is trying to instigate, and she yells at Finn to stop it.
Yeah, that was funny.
I mean, it's really interesting to see the dynamic shift, because Damian was in charge and now Rhea's in charge. I love that Damian called out Rhea. It's like, well, maybe we wouldn't be in this situation and he didn't keep going to Adam Pearce and making matches for us.
He's like, stop going to his office. Right.
Yes.
Stop being Karen.
Stop going to his office. Damian's over it, because Damian has his own things to worry about later tonight as he goes up against Drew. And we're going to see the Judgment Day boys in action later tonight.
Because Dirty Dom is taking on The Miz.
Yeah. Ooh, and we'll talk about all that later. So from here, we get our first women's match of the night. So this is Ivy Nile versus Valhalla. I gotta say, I wanted more from this match. It was okay.
It was short, and I don't remember the last time Valhalla was wrestled.
Yeah, because there was a couple of mistakes on her end, and then there was a couple of mistakes on Valhalla's end. Like when she tried to go for the ropes to cheat, she missed the first time, and then she kind of put her foot on the rope, but it was very clunky to get there. I was just like, I didn't think it was horrible, but I was like, I could tell that it's been a while for Valhalla.
Yeah, I don't remember the last. I'm sitting there. I saw the match, and I was like, wait, when was the last time she's been in a match together? I don't remember the last time Valhalla's wrestled.
Neither can I, because I think it's been a very long time.
And was she Ivar's wife or Eric's wife? I don't know which one.
I think she's Eric. She's Eric's wife, so the one that's injured currently. Yeah, wait, no. Yes, there we go.
Yeah, because I know she's with one of them. I was getting one of those.
Yeah, she's with Eric. But yeah, I didn't think this match was necessarily bad, but there was a couple of mistakes. It was really short. Ivy Nile picks up the victory here. Another distraction for Maxine, which I'm not upset about, per se.
No, but they hit it with the top rope. I think she calls it it was a top rope bulldog. She's calling it a pit bull. And it's 1, 2, 3.
Yep, that was the match. I like Ivy Nile. I really do. I'm hoping that post Rumble we'll get to see more from her. But that was that. I love this next segment. So Jey Uso and New Day are backstage. This is the interview with New Day, specifically Kofi Kingston, basically telling us that he's going to have an Intercontinental Championship match against Gunther next week on Monday Night Raw. So I was like, this should be good.
And this is going to tell you, if Kofi, if they for some reason decide to make him drop the IC belt on a non-pay-per-view event, that tells you who's going to win the Rumble.
I mean, that is definitely a scenario case here. But the more important thing... Oh, go for it.
Because if Kofi beats Gunther, Gunther's winning the Rumble.
That is very good. Well, I mean, normally that logic would work, but the Rumble would happen for next week. And it doesn't matter. Kofi versus Gunther, I think, is going to be a really good match.
Oh, you're absolutely right. I'm retarded. I might have to let Minnie back out because I'm losing it.
Dang it, Senor Lucha don't. That's okay. I've
been thinking about this all day and completely missed up back the Rumble Saturday Raw on Monday.
So speaking of missing things, I didn't notice this upon my first viewing, but I noticed upon my second viewing. As this interview is going on, I'm looking in the background. I'm like, why is this camera being angled weird? While Kofi is being passionate, I see the rest, Bailey and the rest of Damage Control in the background walking around. I was like, what are they doing here?
Oh, did you also notice during the Valhalla match that Nikki Cross was walking up on the stage?
Yes, I was just listen. I want Nikki Cross. I want her to start doing stuff.
Apparently, she's been doing that for the past couple of weeks.
I'm hoping we get to start doing something fun with Nikki Cross because I think
they are because I think that's why she's doing this thing.
So, whether she joins up with oh my gosh, it'd be funny if she would join up with Alpha Academy or if she joins up with the Viking Raiders. Who knows? But I
think she should go to SmackDown and join what's his name's group.
Oh, the Final Testament would probably be a fun fit. Yes, since Scarlett's not wrestling, that would be fun. I think that would be fun. But yeah, I'm like, Damage Control's in the background. I'm like, what are you girls doing here? And then sure enough, I would come to find out in the next segment because this is where Nia Jax comes down to the ring and she cuts.
I skipped this whole promo. I skipped the whole thing.
I mean.
The gist of it, which I got from TikTok, is Nia Jax was like, I'm going to win the Rumble because I'm the baddest bitch here. And Becky was like, no, you're not, because everybody fucking hates you. Then Bayley came out and was like, nah, I'm going to win the Rumble, and then they got into a fight.
That is pretty much it.
Yeah. But, you know, how Nia Jax said it made me want to, shove nails down her throat because I don't like the way she cuts promos. I mean, good job on her. That's the whole point of how she's supposed to be doing them, still.
Yeah, it's gonna be very interesting, and we'll briefly talk about our predictions towards the end of this because Senor Luchador, I'll get your predictions, then our other WWE boy will need his later. But anyways, here we go. From here, this is where we get our match between Dominic Mysterio versus Miz. I thought this was a pretty solid match. I had to adjust my television screen because I don't know what was going on, if Miz forgot a tanning appointment or if it was the stadium lights, but I'm like, sir, you look like you have jaundice.
My brother, who came out during this match, looked at me and goes, why does that dude head a different color from the rest of his body?
I was like, what happened, Miz?
Yeah, he noticed that too, and I was like, oh yeah, you're right. But, you know what? I enjoyed the match for what it was, and it was good to see my boy Dirty Dom get a dub.
Yeah, Dirty Dom picks up a victory, so Judgment Day is finally starting to pick up some more wins here. And, Judgment Day boys, they start to beat down on The Miz, which then heralds DIY to come in for the save. And then commentary reminded me, I was like, oh yeah, DIY is having a championship match for the titles next week on Raw. Okay, so this makes a whole lot more sense now.
They're putting on the championship matches on the event after Royal Rumble because I can't put it on the Rumble day.
I know, it's just like, we need all bodies in this Rumble as much as possible.
Because everybody's hurt, so we gotta put more people in the match.
Yeah. So from here,
hold on. I'm adjusting the mask. Keep talking.
Okay. Want to do the kayfabe here. After this match between The Miz and Dominic Mysterio, this is where Damian Priest is cutting a backstage promo. And then this is where R-Truth interrupts and gives him Damian Priest more cash. And then Priest goes directly into running down Drew and everything. So, again, continuing to build up all this tension between Damian and Drew for their match that we were going to get later in the night. Which then leads to another backstage segment where Bronson Reed is also claiming, stake to a championship. Which then we find out later sets up Jay versus Bronson Reed for what seems to be the Intercontinental Championship too, or something.
There's something up something. But he's like, if you want to go for a belt, I'm going for a belt. So it means you have to go through me at some point. So let's make it happen next week. Bronson Reed.
That match should be really, really good. I can't wait to see that one.
Bronson Reed is so fucking good. Why is the three super Otis, Bronson, and Ivar all are so fucking good?
I don't know, man. They just are, and Papa H over here is brought them all back pretty much. I was just like, all right, well,
big men doing big men slapping meat things,
and also flying around the ring like they shouldn't,
doing fucking moonsaults and shit.
Speaking of moonsaults, this is where we get Chad Gable versus Ivar. This is also another banger match.
It is, because every time Chad Gable's in the ring, it's going to be a good match. Every time Ivar's been in the ring, it's been a good match. You put those two together, guess what you get? Banger.
This match was really I will never get over the German suplexes from Chad Gable, and him doing suplex on Ivar is a thing of beauty to watch.
Every time he does a German suplex, it's a thing of beauty. I mean, you and Minnie saw him do it live to Braun Strowman at Mania.
That was a beautiful moment. That was a beautiful moment live. It was so good. And you know what? Yeah, so Chad is almost going for the win. A distraction from Valhalla, which then
Valhalla didn't come out with Ivar during the entrance. So
right.
We expected her to actually be there. But she was hiding underneath the ring doing the hornswoggle thing.
Yes. So she distracts Chad enough for Ivar to knock him down, and then Ivar hits the moonsault, and then Ivar picks up another victory.
I was happy though, I wasn't here. I did see that Ivar lost to Tozawa.
That was crazy that was crazy last week. That was so much fun. I was just like, wow.
I love Tozawa.
I really do too, and I'm just like, this man is amazing. I'm so happy he's part of Alpha Academy because I feel like it's such a good addition to all of this. Whew. Okay. I have to mentally prepare myself because then now we're entering the third hour. So the first 2 hours were pretty decent. Then we kick off the third hour with this promo. Oh my gosh. Cody and Punk are in the ring, face to face. I was like, deja vu, what is happening?
Oh my god, I feel like we've seen this in another company before.
Serious. But holy crap, Senor Luchadon. This was probably, in terms of promo-wise, this is probably my favorite segment of the night because...
Oh, tell me about it. I don't even like promos that much, but I watched this and was like, damn.
I thought this was really, really good from both sides because this promo starts off with both of them kind of being cordial to each other. Both of them talking about their plans, how they want to win the Rumble and everything. Then it started to get personal. Punk starts off by talking about the American dream, Death Road, and all the bibith.
Saying that, you came up, your dad was one of the best wrestlers of all time, and you got hired in, you started with it. My dad was the electrician. I started with nothing. I'm more the American dream than you are.
When he said that, I was like, oh, okay, it's going to be one of those promos.
Cody Rhodes came back saying, you did the pipe bomb. You talked about you laid out this roadmap and talked about everything you did. Then you left the torch there. I picked it up and did everything you said. I did everything. I'm more CM Punk than you are.
Yep.
Then CM Punk hit him with if you're more CM Punk than me, then let me tell you what's going to happen if you're more CM Punk than me. You've been carrying this company for soul-crushing 2 years, trying to earn your spot in the main event of WrestleMania. Then somebody who hasn't been here for a long time, who's bigger, is going to come back and take it from you. Talking about when CM Punk had to happen to him with The Rock. I was like, oh my lord, they're talking about shit that happened a long time ago, and I loved it.
And then we end this promo with both of them kind of trying to pass each other. Cody shoulder checks him on his way out. Punk pulls him back. They go do the face-to-face thing, and then they go their separate ways. I'm sitting here thinking to myself, if it wasn't for the fact that I still think both of them have other plans for WrestleMania, we gotta get this match down the line at some point.
They're probably going to be the final two, so you might have a little bit of a match at Mania.
That's very fair.
Or Brock Lesnar comes in and wins. I'm just kidding. I did not say that.
Don't put that out in the universe, Senor Luchador. We do not know Brock Lesnar.
Hulk Hogan's going to win it. You heard me. That's right. Hulkamaniac is going to take it. Because he just said he has one more in him. Hulkamaniac's going to take it, brother.
Okay, so finishing this up before we talk about that, I really enjoyed this promo. I really like Cody. I really like Punk. I'm really excited for their interaction in the Men's Rumble on Saturday. It's going to be a good time. So now let's go on a side tangent real quick. We did get this video package with Hulk Hogan, and then he did end it by stating he might have one more match in him. And I sat here thinking, I was just like, this overhand, saturated, his own hypocrisy guy.
If I'm gonna say this, if Ric Flair wasn't in AEW, that would be hilarious if they don't do Ric Flair Hulk Hogan.
Listen, we don't need to watch Ric Flair almost die again.
It actually might end it because they might both die in the ring,
Oh, Lord.
Cut that part out. Cut that out.
No, we're keeping it.
Shit.
You heard it here first. I'm just kidding.
No, but it sounded like he wanted to be in the Rumble. So if he is, I hope it gets eliminated super quick.
I hope so too, man. Because
have him come in, Hulk up on Tozawa or somebody, hit a leg drop, and get thrown out.
I'll be okay with that. Because Booker T did the Spinneroonie and then got thrown out last year. So
if they do that, cool. Then we'll call it a day.
Yeah, but I think this promo was probably my favorite thing from Monday Night Raw last week. This is exactly what I wanted, and I cannot wait to see Punk and Cody's interaction on Saturday, which then leads into a women's tag team match: Shayna Baszler versus Zoe Stark versus Indy Hartwell and Candice LeRae. And there's implications here that the winning team would probably be the next in line to challenge for the women's tag team titles
after Damage Control.
Yeah, after Damage Control, because that match is set for SmackDown. And speaking of which, so this match doesn't last long either. I mean, we do get a commercial break. I love Indy, I love Candice, but Shayna and Zoe Stark pick up the victory here.
Yep, Zoe Stark. It was Zoe Starks that hit the that got the pin that match.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah. I thought this match was a lot of fun. I will say I like that they actually gave this match a little bit of time compared to last week's women's match, which wasn't that long. But that's here or there.
Well, this is our second women's match. They had 2 women's matches on the card.
That's very fair. That's more than I could say about other companies.
It ended. Then the tag team Contender Chance and Caden Carter came out, showing off their belts. Then the Kabuchi Warriors is what they call themselves. Asuka and Kairi Sane came out and attacked them. And Kairi Sane, I'm not sure if you caught this, did the funniest thing towards the very end of the segment. She lightly kicked one of them. It was so funny. If you caught that,
yes,
she
I did.
Just touched her with her foot. It was so funny.
I love Kairi and Asuka coming back together. So this spoiler alert. Looking ahead on Friday, Kaden and Katana are defending those titles against Asuka and Kairi. So I don't know, man. We'll see if Kairi and Asuka pick up the. I don't know. I would love to see Kaden and Katana run with the titles a little bit more, but honestly, I would not be surprised either if
this is
Kairi
what I was saying. That
Asuka pick it up.
This is what I was saying about they could be transitional champions, but I also could see this being how they start to push Bayley getting out of Damage Control, because she could cost in the match as well. So it could be either or.
That is very fair, and who knows what's going to happen during that match on Friday, because we still have the Friday go-home show to take a look at. It's going to be weird to record because of the way that our schedule is set up.
Yeah, that's going to come out on
after the Rumble.
Yeah.
But that's okay. I mean, it's kind of safe to say the SmackDown match that we're getting that's coming from SmackDown in terms of non-Royal Rumble action, I'm pretty sure we know the outcome of that, but we'll talk about that when we start to make predictions. We'll talk about that after we talk about this main event. So Damian Priest versus Drew McIntyre. Woo! When I tell you, talk about big beefy men hitting each other, but beefy in a different way, this match ruled so much.
Oh my god, I wanted these guys to fight so much more, and the way it ended sets up the fact that it could have gone either way, which I liked. But Damian Priest, Drew McIntyre, banger.
This match was really, really good. Damian Priest and Drew McIntyre continue to go back and forth. And then poor R-Truth, man. So R-Truth comes in to try to give Damian his monies, which then costs Damian the match, and Drew picks up the victory here. And Damian's like, oh, heck no. This match was really, really fun.
It was R-Truth with the funny, asking, what's the passcode? What's the passcode? And then after he was able to hit South of Heaven, would have the 3 count, but R-Truth was being checked up on the ref. He got thrown out the ring. Then, he got hit with the Claymore. 1, 2, 3. Drew McIntyre with the W with some fucked up ribs.
Yeah, so that's going to be interesting. And both men are in the Royal Rumble, so that's going to be interesting. So before we get into our predictions for the Rumble, let's quickly review and rate our Monday Night Raw episode. I'm going to give this a solid 7.5. I think for a go-home show, this was a pretty decent show for a 3-hour show. The wrestling was pretty good. The Cody and Punk segment, like I said, is probably my favorite thing that happened at the show. And you know what? I'm excited to see some of these interactions happen at the Royal Rumble. So I give this go-home Raw a 7.5.
I'm gonna give it an 8. The Gable match, the New Day match. Actually, I'm gonna push it to a 9. There was 3 really good matches and a solid, amazing promo there. And they're setting 2 amazing promos with Gunther and Seth Rollins at the beginning. They're setting up super well for Rumble and really good for Mania.
You know what? I can agree with that. So the Go Home Raw was a lot of fun. So now, last thing we do before we sign off because I'm going to do this with the Professor over on Smack. Well, we'll talk about it because we can't really do predictions. But since this was the go-home show, let's do our predictions for Monday. Let's do our predictions for the Royal Rumble. So as of right now, we only have 4 matches for the Rumble, which is going to happen because the Royal Rumble matches for the men and women are going to take up an hour. So let's start with our non-Rumble matches. So let's start off with the United States Championship. Kevin Owens versus Logan Paul.
I think Logan Paul wins with shenanigans.
I agree with that as well. I'm picking Logan Paul. I think this is actually going to be a pretty phenomenal match because it's Kevin Owens. But
right.
Logan's also pretty good too. So Kevin Owens is a good person to have in the ring with, to be your dance partner, so to speak. But I do think we get shenanigans. Logan retains. And I still am of the belief that it's Logan versus LA Knight for that title at WrestleMania this year.
Oh, me too.
That would be so good.
Or LA Knight is beating Gunther at Mania. One of the two.
One of the two. LA Knight needs a title at WrestleMania. We're putting that out in the universe. Next, we have our Fatal 4-Way for the WWE Undisputed Championship. This is Roman Reigns versus LA Knight versus AJ Styles versus Randy Orton. I have Roman retaining, and to make it extra spicy, I think AJ's taking the pin in this one.
Yeah, I was thinking the same thing. Roman is winning, we know that, but it's either I think it's probably pinning LA Knight.
Ooh.
Unfortunately.
Interesting.
But because LA Knight, unfortunately, I think is in the weakest spot of them. Mm-hmm. AJ Styles is just coming back, and they probably want to push him so they have more big names on SmackDown. But I could see it either going to LA Knight or AJ. I don't think Randy's taking a pin.
Oh no, because according to the reports, this went from being an original one-on-one between Randy and Roman, and then became a Fatal 4-Way because the higher-ups didn't want Randy to get pinned so early upon returning.
Right, so I think it's the same thing for AJ. That's why I'm thinking LA Knight's taking the pin.
Ooh, you know what? Unfortunately, I could see that too, but hey, we'll see what happens at the Royal Rumble on Saturday. So now comes like the biggest unknowns. So let's start with the Women's Royal Rumble. So 30 women. So
see this one's easier for me because I think Becky's winning.
You know what? That's what I think too. I think Becky is winning, but my second pick for me is actually going to be Bayley. I think one of those two is going to win it for this year.
Right. And that one's a little bit easier for me. The men's, I couldn't tell you. It's 3. It's 1 of 3. But women's, I think Becky's taking it.
I'm going to go with Becky, and but my runner-up is Bayley. I can see one of those two winning. So with the men, since we can't pick one, we'll pick our top 3.
Hold on. So Becky's taking it. Bayley's number 2, and I have a surprise. I think we're gonna get another legend to return, and I'm gonna say Awesome Kong.
Ooh, that'd be a lot. Ooh, Awesome Kong would be great.
I think she's gonna come out and take out Nia Jax, or Nia Jax is gonna take her out.
Oh, that would be a fun moment. That would be. All right. So now we got the tough parts. Next is the men. So we can't decide on a winner. I think Punk is winning this. But if I had to pick from like a top 3 to choose from, I think the winner should be Punk, Cody, or honestly, if they wanted to throw us a curveball, I would love to see Gunther pick up the win too.
Those are my 3 too. Punk, it's gonna be Punk, him, or Gunther. I think it's gonna be those 3. And then I'm gonna do another surprise one here. I think we're gonna get somebody who's active on AEW is gonna come over, one of the former WWE guys, like Paul White or somebody. Or we might get here I'm gonna pitch you and say this. I think Zack Ryder's gonna make an appearance.
You know what? Matt Cardona would actually be kind of fun, but you know what? We'll see. And again, this is 30 spots, and we only have. I am happy that they learned their lesson from last year, because remember last year and the year before that, they pretty much told us the majority of who was going to be in the Rumble, but this year we only have like 5 or 6 confirmed, and everybody else is a mystery.
Right. So I think Matt Cardona's gonna come out, and I think it's gonna be. He's going to be a surprise one, or we could get an active AEW wrestler who's just going to make an appearance.
That is very, very fair. All right, Senor Luchadont, we are finished, and we have reached the end of this week's Monday Night Raw episode. when we come back, I know, right? When we come back for the next one, when we come back for next week's episode, we will be Monday Night Raw after Royal Rumble. And on top of that, then our reviews are going to start the build towards Elimination Chamber in February.
Elimination Chamber is almost here.
It's literally at the end of February, but it will be here right before we know it, just like Rumble was for January, man. And then after Elimination Chamber.
Oh, end it. Meeting's out of the basement.
No. All right. We'll see you guys later. Bye.
Thank you so much for tuning in to another Vibe Tribe production. What's going to happen next time? Well, you're going to have to tune in to find out. But until then, remember, take care of yourself, love one another, and as always, make sure that you keep the good times rolling. Thank you for being here, and we'll see you next time.